Hello everyone, welcome. I'm back. You miss Jean screaming because the phone decided it had too much storage and decided to cut out on me when I was just about done with page 1. So I'm just gonna tell you how I did that one. It's frustrating and I thought I just cleaned out my phone storage. Anyways, so let's start from the beginning. This is part 4. We are doing our Ladybug album. And we finished covering the cover and putting all our pages in, okay? And I had shown this and the camera went, I didn't know it went totally off either until, I had this all done. So anyways, I'll walk you through this. But what I said in the first one was, make sure you cut all your papers out first because you do not know how much you're going to need. I ended up using... I had one of the collection packages with the stickers and the pages and one of the solids. And then I also had an extra collection because I knew I was going to use pretty much all this up and I wanted some extra. I ended up using, I needed to take a couple more pages out of the other pack. So I needed both one collection, one solid, and some from the other collection. Now, you can use your own solid papers if you can match up. So you don't have to buy the collection. And besides the fact that I already had a lot of this cut, I didn't have anything that matched those that I really liked. So I just went into my other pack. It was not that big of a deal. But cut all your pages first, okay? Because there's nothing worse than getting to the end and not having enough paper. So I always cut my pages ahead of time. So for this one, I'll walk you back through it. First thing I did is I needed to poke a hole through here. So I put this piece of paper down first. Then I poked a hole for my brad, okay? And then I put this on. This was just a ephemera piece that I layered and put on, okay? Then I glued the back piece on, okay? Before you glue these two pieces together, you need to put your magnet in between there. Because I did the magnet. I wanted this to be an illusion of, like this was my closure. But there's really a magnet holding that down. Okay, so make sure before you glue these two pieces together, you put your magnet inside there. Okay, then put this piece down first. Put your hole through, put the brad through, then you can put your back side on, okay? Do not put this side down yet, okay? So then what I did is I brought this over, and mine got a little crooked there because I'm stuck, okay? So, and I made a pencil mark on the paper below where my magnet needs to be. Then I put my magnet down, and then I put this piece of paper on top, okay? And this side, you just can put your paper on. There's nothing special on this side, okay? So then we have that. That is the closure for this one. I'm so mad, camera. So that's how I did that one. Sorry if it doesn't make a lot of sense. You can just put like, a couple holes in, run some string through and tie it. There's lots of different ways you can use to close it. Or you can put a magnet on both sides and just have it magnet shut. I wanted to put a little decoration piece here anyways. So I thought we'll put a magnet. So there's magnets underneath there. All right. So we'll go on to page 2. That was so frustrating. That's only the second time that's happened. I'm really careful at emptying my camera, but I don't know what happened here. I was taking a lot of screenshots of a project I want to do, so I don't know. All right. Page 2. This was this one where it stands up like this, okay? This is why you need to cut your papers ahead of time too. I'm doing an 8x8 album this time. If I do a 6x6 album, not a big deal, because you can get more than one, page out of your page. So, but this is a bigger album. We need to go bigger. All right, so for this one, I'll kind of lay it out for you first. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put this one under there. And I did cut the full. You don't need a full piece. I'll explain as we go along. Just showing you how I'm going to set it up. I'm going to put that piece there. Okay, now I am not decorating the back side here because you're not going to really see that. Your page is going to be up like that. But I will decorate this inside. But I'm just going to use a plain, and I'm going, I don't think the black, no, we'll do the green side. So we're going to put the green there, okay? And then normally wherever I'm putting a picture, I like to use a plain color for when I put the picture on. But in this case, this is kind of the main page. So I'm putting this one on. And then what I would normally do is decide what size picture you're going to have. Like, I'm not putting any pictures in this. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this album yet. Then I would cut a solid for behind the picture and put it down. So that's what I would do on that one. So let's go ahead and I'll give you measurements as we're doing this. So let's start with our pocket here. And you do not need to go all the way behind there. I only just tuck it in just a teeny tad, okay? So this piece is 7 3/16. Then you might have to adjust that yourself, the size of your, how you end up doing your pocket. And by, where am I? 4 3/4. So we're just going to glue that right into there like that. And kind of center it up good and make sure you stay away from your fold and all that stuff. So let's do that. So frustrating sometimes when you're taping things, when you have little problems, and sometimes I can't be watching because I have my laptop in front of me, but I can't always be watching that when I'm trying to line everything up on my page. So I'm not really looking at my computer that much. So just slide it under there. And before you push it down too hard, make sure you have it where you want it. So, and if I wouldn't have had the whole page done, you wouldn't even known. Because it's happened before on a haul, and that I can redo. But this, I can't redo. And then we're going to just put this one here. And of course, you know, that's one of the pages with the magnets on. So that was one of the more, not difficult pages, but it was a little bit more stuff to that one. And I like to make sure I'm lining up with the page above the best I can. And that's that. And now, oh, that one I didn't measure for you, sorry. That one is 2 3/4 by 7 1/4 on that one. So these two are the same, yep. And they are 7 1/4 by 3 1/2. So let's go ahead and just glue those down. This is the fun part, the decorating part. The hard part is actually what do you want on each page. That's kind of hard. Let's start with this one, and I can line it up first along the sides. I like to try to stay, you know, as best I can. It's not perfect, but you know. Just so it looks like there's a nice line. Whoop, come back here. My worst part of doing the album is designing it, first off. Because you would not believe how many prototypes I go through. I always use cheap paper, construction paper usually. Cheap paper. I know pretty much the outside of the album, it's the pages that, you know, when I'm going to do pages and stuff that might not work out. So I get, you know, lots of little prototypes and stuff. But so then but we're going to go down and put this page on. This one's going to go on here. And this one should be, I think, 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. Yep. Decorating, once you figure out what you want on each page, you know, this part goes easy. It's the what do I want on this page? How do I want to do this page? That can be a little stressful. And then when your camera does what it does, that's part of taping. Now I'm like trying to glance up constantly. All right, that would be page 2. And I keep everything like this, so I paper clip all my stuff together for that page. And then I have little notes if I need to put anything on it. And this one's going to have some things. So this one we're going to be putting a belly band on. So we're going to be adding a belly band to this is my waterfold page. And we're going to be adding a belly band down here. And we're going to put a magnet back here. And we are going to put the magnet down here also. And we will cover, I forgot to get a piece of paper. We'll do that next week. I forgot to get a piece of paper for there, for the back side, but we can put that on afterwards. It's not a big deal, but we can put the magnet on. So I'll just tape it. I just want to get that down smoother. There you go. All right, so to put this down, we're just going to be gluing that down there. Before you put the paper down, we're going to put the magnet on the back before we put the backer on, which I don't know why it's not here. It's probably got messed somewhere. And then we're going to put the magnet down here before we put the paper on. So that all makes sense. And the first thing I want to do is I want to round the corners on this one, just to make it look a little nicer. Okay. And I know that my magnet is going to go right along the top. So we're just going to tape our magnet down for now because I've got to get that piece on the back. So we'll just tape it down. And I am using, which one are these? The Tonic Small Craft Magnets. I really, really like those. They work, they're really, really thin. I'll see if I can get, I got like 2 here. How thin they are. I got glue all over my fingers, but so they are very, very thin. Okay. You go over by, no, you go by your buddy and you come over this way. So just want to make sure which way these are going to go. So I'm going to tape this down. We're just going to tape it down for this week. Next week we'll finish it off. I got a little too much tape there. We don't need that much. So let's just tape that down and then let your magnet hook on. And then we'll be taping that down in just a second. I'll show you a trick. Okay, let's glue this down. And we will glue it down right towards the edge. It doesn't have to go all the way to the edge. Just get it right down to the edge. Figure out about where your middle is. Just eyeball. You can measure if you want. Jean doesn't measure much. Okay, I'm just going to put that right about there. And before I really sink it down, I'm going to see if it's where I like it. That looks pretty centered there. Okay. All right, so now I need another little piece of tape. Then if it's going to stick down like this, we want the tape to go this way. And we're going to put it opposite. So it's going to go under here and make sure that it will stick on. Okay, so now you can see the tape is facing up. The sticky part is facing up, sorry. And then we're just going to let this, make sure this is down. We're just going to let it flop down. And now don't worry about pulling it too tight because you know you're going to be getting some bulk under there. And then press the tape down, and it didn't stay. I got to see where it is, my little tape. And the other one came off too because I didn't glue it down yet, but let's just tape that one down first, and then I'll get my other one back up. And it's going to probably do that because I don't have it glued down. Let me just get under there and get that one up. And that one I can readjust if I need to next week when we get that piece of paper cut. Okay, now we can go ahead and lay our papers down. So let's start down at the bottom. Okay, so we are going to just put this black one down at the bottom. And we will center that all up. And it should be like probably 7 1/4 by 7 1/4 like all the big ones are. Yep. So we're just going to go ahead and center that right down like that. Like I said, I use most of the back side's going to be solids because you're going to be putting pictures and stuff down. You don't need to waste all your pattern paper if it's not going to show that much anyways. Okay, and just lay it down, and then before you push it too hard, push it in position. Make sure it's even everywhere. So when you bring that up, you're only seeing that much. If you want to put designer paper right down along here, you can do that, but we don't need to, you know, you use a lot of paper in this to begin with. You'd need 2 full sheets of designer paper. Okay. Let's get this out of my way so then we have, I want to make sure I'm not going to mess up my front pages. Make sure those are my front pages. I don't want to mess up and put the wrong pages. Then we have, we'll do the red one here. Because like I said, you're not going to see that, see? So you're not going to really see that. So let's go with, this is 7 1/4 by 6 1/4. Make sure I put it in the right way too. Okay, just like that. Pick your color side. And I always go through and cut my biggest pieces first. So when you're doing your album, cut the biggest piece first. And if you're not very good at albums yet, don't put all these fancy pages in. Just do the main page. So your main page is, trying to find something. I'm trying to find one of them that I could show you. So your main page basically is right here. So it's just, ignore this part. This is your main page pretty much. This with the pocket. That's all you have to have. You don't have all the fancy pages if you're just starting out. Just do the pocket page and that's it. Okay? And if you want me to show a more simple one like that, let me know. And we'll simplify it a little. Make sure. All right. And now I believe this one is going here. And then I believe this one is going here. Yep. So now we have a striped one here. And this one is going to be 6 1/4 by 7 1/4. I have made all sorts of journals and albums on my channel. So they're all in if you just look in the album playlist, I keep them all there so you can find what you need. Okay, and then we're just going to put the green one up here. And that one is 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. We haven't even gotten to the exciting part. I have a closure that I'm going to be using for the first time. I've never used before. I've seen it done before, but I've never done it myself. So I'm excited about trying that. Trying to pull my page over just a little. Okay. Get some of the glue off my fingers because I'm getting too much. All right. Now here I have, this one's going to go here. Like that. And then I believe I'm going to do this one on the inside like that, and then I'm going to do a solid. So I kind of got a solid pattern, kind of a solid. Okay, whoops, that one's not glued down yet. Okay, and this one is 7 1/4 by 5 1/4. Make sure I got it the right way. Nope, I think it goes like this. Okay. polka dot one will go up here. And if you're an inker, you can go ahead and ink your edges. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This one I didn't want to. I wanted to keep it more kind of just, you know, fresh and not vintagey looking. And then our last one, we are going to put the green, bring out the green here. And now we can take our little piece of tape off here. Well, if I can get it. You know, that's the hardest part of, you know, doing a project, right? Getting this tape. I have it, but I'm pulling up the tape. Now, before I glue it down, I like to make sure, I'm just going to kind of hold this there, that my magnet is right. Because it wouldn't be the first time I had the polarization wrong. Get that back off of there. Let it go. There we go. All right, so that's good. So let's glue that down. Got to really pay attention to that because the magnets don't stick on both sides. I've learned that the hard way in the past. And then you think you're laying it down right, but you're not. And I just rub around there a little bit so that it stays. And that should hook like that. And it will once we get the backing on. So that's our waterfall page. And then we'll be putting ephemera and all that stuff. We'll be putting all decorative pieces. This one's the only one I did that because I needed to put the brad in. But that'll be like one of our last steps is putting all the decorations on and stuff. So, all right. So that's page 3, I believe we're at. So we're coming up to page 4, which is kind of got the little openings. And then bring that up. We're going to be adding magnets to this one also. And this one's kind of fun. So for this one, again, these two are going to be on the outside. When you open it up, you got the big flaps. So I'm going to put, I got the 2 flaps and this one on the outside. So I think I'm going to do the green, this one on the outside with the, yeah, I think I'll do that. Let me see. We have some of these that we're going to be putting as our, I'm just going to hold that there and kind of see what you like. Do you like that? I think this is bigger anyways. I think I have to use this piece. I don't know. I can go with the green. I could go to plain. I don't really like that though. I want to stick with a pattern, I think. Like that. We're going to put this on the outside. All right, but we don't want to put that down yet, so don't do that yet. Because our magnets are going to go... I gotta get my page back out of here so I know what I'm doing. Okay, so first we're going to be putting our magnets here, and then putting this down. And then we are going to be putting our page down. And we are going to be putting our magnets down. Okay, I'm gonna put, I think we can just put the magnets on this page. I don't think we need to put them down under here, under this one. All right, let's figure out where we want all our magnets first. So we're gonna get one about there. And I'll tape these down first. One there, let's just tape them down quick. And then I'm gonna flip that. 2 more magnets. If you ever work with magnets, you know how irritating they can be. And then let it find its own self right there. And we're going to be putting the tape on. I just want to see. And because we're going to have paper here, paper there. Yeah, we shouldn't need to put it down here. That'll hold good. Okay, so let's put our tape so that I can get that down. Make sure you pick it up the way. And I'm going to put that back down on there. Nope, wrong one. Okay, now put this page back down. And I'm not pulling it tight because you want some bulk in it. So then I'm just going to let it go down naturally. And find my tape under here. And let it stick down. There we go. Same with that one. Just kind of let it fall down on its own. And stick it down like that. Okay, and that's that page, that's page. Now we can go ahead. We got the magnets in place. We can go ahead and put our papers in. And I think I'll put the lighter green over here. And the darker green, make sure I got the right sizes. That's the bigger one. And that should fit there. This is a 7. Yeah, and these are 7 1/8. Okay. All right, let's put them there. This is the back side. So I just got 2 plain because, like, by the time I got to some of these, I'm like, I'm about out of paper. 7 by 7 1/4. We're going to put right here. And this will probably be our last page for tonight. I like to keep this closer to a half hour when I'm doing albums. And let's put it on there straight. As straight as you can be. You have lots of spaces for pictures in this album. Okay, get that one down. Checking my camera. It's still running because now I'm like paranoid, you know. Get this. Come on. Get over here. Come on. You need to go this way a little bit. All right. Now this page. This one don't look like it has a right or wrong. We're going to put this one down. That should be the same. Gotta make sure I'm going the right way with it. Okay. And this one is 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. All right, let's take our tape off here. Take our tape off. And then we're gonna glue on the back of this one. Those polka dots are funky on the camera. And then put a little bit of glue around. I'm going to make sure we get that positioned in there, up and down and all around. Oops. I slid that. This. Neck hook. Okay, good. So far, so good. Now we have to figure out which. This one I want inside for sure because you can use that as a writing. So we're going to put that inside for sure. And maybe this one on the front. And maybe this one on the front. So let's glue those down. And these are just the cut aparts. I don't think I really had to trim them. I might have had to trim them a tiny bit, but I'll give you the measurement. And all of them are 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. Beautiful. Oh my God. Seriously. Anybody else struggle with tape? That's one of the easier tapes to do too, so that's why I like that brand, but I don't want to struggle tonight. Okay, now we get to do, let me pull this over, and we do the back side. And I think I'll put the writing towards the bottom. Not that you need, because we are going to have a lot of spaces. Remember we got our pockets yet too, that we can put like journaling space in there too, which when we get to those, I'll show you what I like to usually do. And voila. I should, whoops, yep, that's right, I got that pages. I keep thinking that these pages need to come over, but these pages stay here. All right, so we're done for tonight. Let's get back to it. We'll show you. So we did, well, I did this page, you know, and it magnets, and you can slide it or just pull it, you know, whichever way you want. Opens up our gatefold. I kind of like, you know, my first page to be as wow as possible. And then we're going to flip to our, I don't know what you call this page. What is that called? That card that stands up. I don't know. My brain ain't functioning right now anymore. It's had a rough time. And then we have our waterfall, which we'll get that other piece on next week. And then so we did all that. All that's ready to go. Or we have a lot to do yet. And then the last page, which is really pretty too. I like these little cards. And you can write on that. And you got plenty, like, if you put your pictures here too, you got lots of picture space in here. Lots and lots and lots. All right, so let's stand it up. You can see if it's getting a little bit bulkier. And that is part 4. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. I know I've been getting a lot of comments that they are enjoying this album. So we still have probably at least 3 more parts to this probably, because I'm not trying to rush it through. I want you guys to see. And this new closure that I'm doing, I really want you guys to see. So totally new to me. So all right, guys, as always, you know, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.